local lawyers, including our current Chief Justice, were involved, but no availability. Mr. Lefevre was denied the right to get back his land. Exhibit L7, 8, 9, and 10. Parcel V5706. This was another parcel that was acquired by Miss Anna Lefevre and given to someone else. Exhibit L11. Saint Louis parcels of land. The heirs of Mr. Edouard Lefevre got as their inheritance herein parcels at Saint Louis. 8 pieces were taken. V3281 from Christine Lefevre, V3282 from Myrna Lefevre, V3272 Henry Lefevre, V3275 Elizabeth Lefevre, V3275 Valerie Lefevre, 73. V3277 Jacques Lefevre, V3276 Gilbert Lefevre, V3279 Rosemary Lefevre, V3271 Edouard Lefevre, V3510 Georges Lefevre. Then their remaining land, V9155, V992, V5735, were put in the reserve. National Park without any compensation whatsoever up to this day, which is known as the area of Trois Frères. My own parcels, George Lefevre, they took J46, my land at Mount Simpson, still trying to get compensation. V3510, my garage, of which I'm still negotiating the return, and destroyed my building thereon. J611, my road which I built that they took without compensation.
And my garage was demolished. I could have earned some money today, at least 85,000 rupees a month, and they took it all. These people have done so much to this island, and they're still stealing today, even the one who's in power now. They're selling land that is not their land. They've taken it from people. Right now, there's a property of 200 acres over at Anslamouche that was sold for 20 million rupees or something, and they put it in their pocket. All these people can do whatever they want. It's about time people realize what they've done to the local people in the Seychelles. Yes, I've left the island a long time ago. And I'm coming back. It's about time we Seychellois realize we have to change these people, these scum. You know, they are worse than the El Capone or the great time. I remember seeing a picture about Alibaba and their 40 thieves. That's what's going on in the island now today. Everyone has got big houses. I like to know how they got it. Is it on drugs that they bring on the island? Or is it the land that they're stealing from people? Seychelles is still one of the most beautiful places in the world. Today, we could have been anything in this world because people love it. And every one of them, those ministers today, they're all stealing. They're all getting money on the table. I can remember when Esme Gimo didn't have a pot. I'm sorry to say the word piscine. And today he's got property. I remember building a road at Maccabi for a South African guy who bought the land from Mr. Deloyer. He paid me
at that time about 86,000 rupees. And then what happened later on? Jimo took it from that guy. He built a bunch of houses. How he built it? Because when he was building the place at Notice Point, they were stealing from the government to build the house. And at Beauvalon, he got a place next to the Beauvalon Bay. And Michael might know, Hallway Hotel. And he has a big property there, at least 8-9 acres. I can remember when he was staying at Saint Louis, at Pascal Village in a little shop on top. He had a shop on the bottom and his family was staying on top. You know? What happened to this? I've taken money, I remember, to give to Esme Jimo from Otto Schnitzenbaumer when they were taking his property at Glacis to build a football field. And then they went and take it at the Montcalm. I was the one who excavated the place. I know a lot about this country. What happened to my family? I worked for everything I got. I didn't steal, but today they're stealing from people. And it is the money for our young generation, not for them. Tomorrow's kids. We could build better road, better hospital, better school. We had the best school when I grew up. Michael went to school there, called the Seychelles College, and the Regina Mundi. We had good doctors, very, very good doctors, qualified. We had good, all kind of people like Charles Poole, good engineer, good Bernard Poole, good accountant. And the Seychelles was proud to be doing something. What's happening today? It's about time we put an end to this kind of corruption. Everyone is corrupt. I don't have to mention him. I've forgotten about Dr. Ferrari. But I haven't forgotten about a lot of other people. Philibert Loiseau was one of my best friends. They all undertook. I gave money for Rene too, from other people to get to do development. I've given money to a lot of the old ministers. Jacques Odoul is paying for what he did. My mother has done a lot of rosary on him, that pig. I've got to say it. I'm sorry. His brother, Paul Odoul too, used to run around. All these people have committed treason to this country. It's not me to say, but it was in our constitution. I don't really care. Like I said before, I'm ready to get if somebody wants to kill me, I'm ready to get it. My girls has done well. I've got nothing to lose. I've come here, I don't even have a house. They still, since 2016, they took my garage, they gave my garage back. My daughter paid for them. And they haven't received. We haven't received. What's going on with this country? You know, I'm very proud to see today that I've met a Chief Justice. She's a Seychellois. I'm very proud of her to see what's going on. I know everywhere in this country. I've worked everywhere. I've helped a lot of people. The Seychelles that I used to know, and Michael used to know, is not the Seychelles we know today. We come from a religious country. 99% probably was Catholic, the rest was Church of England. But we were united. We didn't matter, Indians, Seychellois, Chinese, blacks, we were united. My dad, I got up 4:30 in the morning to milk cow and water the gardens. My brothers and sisters, we were a big family, 14 of us. And to see what's happening today, yes, I cry. Because those people, what they've done, it's wrong. I had to run away from it. Living in exile. I didn't have my paper in America. I started a business and worked it. I kept away from a lot of things. I work hard. I was one of the hardest workers, even here in the Seychelles. My parents worked and left us something. I want to work and leave something to my kids and my grandkids. That's the way we were brought up. And when I was growing up, Beauvalon had nobody. Maranglaise had nobody. Glacis, there was hardly anybody. Bellhomme. I can remember in Bellhomme when we used to have even a little piece of land and ducks and chicken next to the Corsair. You know, I can remember there was not many people there. Saint-Louis, Le Gnol. It didn't matter. We were friends. There was no problem. I can remember when Albert René came here as a lawyer. The Seychelles Club, I used to belong to the Seychelles Club. Why? He broke down the Seychelles Club. We had just built a new club because he was kicked out of the Seychelles Club because he didn't pay his bar bill. And then he hated the Seychelles Club. He lived a rich man's time. In those days, there was nobody was making cases against the court. And you know, he had a house at Bagatelle. Then he got a car from Moussa where he couldn't pay. I can remember that rogue. He was one of the worst rogues we had here. He was so smart and bandit in his hand, worse than El Capone. This place used to be a wild, wild west time when all these army people was chasing people. But they thought one day it won't change. This country is going to change. And I believe it's going to change. Maybe my kids will come back and do something too. She loves the Seychelles. It hurts so bad to be talking to you like this because people don't realize what happened in this country. Our land, but they didn't take the land of the Albert, but they took the land of Philippe Albert because it was different Albert. But Joseph Albert, they didn't take. Jacques Odoul, they didn't take his land. He's got a bunch of property. Ferrari, he's got half of there. But they took land of other people. All the hotels was taken. And what happened after that? They managed to sell it and put the money somewhere. I'd like to know how many went under the table. James Michel, I can remember him when he was going to school. at that time, they call it, what do they call it, Mike? Next to the Seychelles College. Modern school. I can remember when he went to work at the Cable and Wireless. He didn't pay even Winnie's bar his bill when he took food there. I can remember him when he was working at the Hotel de Seychelles. Another clown. Today he's got billions. Where did he get it? And he had to run away to Abu Dhabi? Stay here, Michel. And you know, on top of that, after he lost his job at Hotel de Seychelles, he went to start a bed and breakfast place at a friend of mine's place called Henri Poul at Northeast Point. He didn't pay Henri Poul. Henri Poul had to chase him out. Until today, he never paid his Henri Poul. Henri Poul is sitting in England now. Good guy. Was another guy. Albert Rene one time gave me a check over 2,500 or 2,800 rupees. Bounce. When I went to him, I said, Albert, why you gave me that check? You know what he said? Give it to me. I said, no. At that time, there was a law. If you don't make it good, I can take it to the police. And in a few minutes, he went outside. He came back with the money and counted it in front of me. And you know where he got the money from? From Henri Poul. The same as the brother of S.P. Gimo. I forgot his name. At Montfleury. Rifnel Gimo. He was the one who started the party. He also gave up a lot of money. Albert never had any money. He was broke. Even Mrs. Deltel, friend of mine, Raymond Deltel, he used to go there and eat every Saturday call. Make me then, make me this. Go there. When he lived, they give him a lot of food, put it in his back of his car. And you know what? The first place, after the coup d'etat, they took Mr. Deltel's place, Athens police. And Mrs. Deltel told me, I met her in Australia. And Mrs. Deltel, I used to give her a lift every day almost when he was going to the Anse Royal Hospital. He said, George, I borrowed him 85,000 rupees different. Showed me where he signed. He never paid them any money. All these things that he has done, this Albert Rene, everybody call him Papa. I hope one day before I leave here, I'll go and piss on his grave. That's how I feel about those scoundrels, those rogue. There's worse name I can say about them, but I won't say it here. Because I was brought up the right way. It's a shame. Beautiful island. And today, like they took a lot of people's land who had a little house they were renting and making a little money. I remember a man by the name of Chang Sam. He used to work at the Long Pier. He saved his money, built little houses. One day his family could make a little money when he died. And everybody that was renting, they had the tenant right. A guy like André Rasoul, for example, brought up by a good family. He took the chance to take the tenant's right from a house of the Michel, René Michel. You know what kind of a rogue is he too? I've got to say that. You don't do that. You were educated, you went to school. You went to school with me, same class. I can show you a picture of him. Pesi Padiwala, all this. You know, My mother had a few little houses where she could get a rent every month. I had to send her money because she couldn't live because the government took all our land. Our place at Beauvalon, I'll go back to that one. There was just sold one piece for $10 million, and we never got paid. There was two property on Beauvalon. They were both being paid 800 rupees a month, rent. And then when the government took it, Mom stopped getting the rent. Mom stopped getting anything. The water at Beauvalon, my father gave them a place at Saint Louis, the government. My father was a good man, was a great man. Then after that, at Beauvalon, Antoine Manish, he started going there on the back of the property and start taking sand, selling the sand. And later on, what happened? They put garbage in that hole. Next thing, there was the rat. The rat. These people are rats. Those people that made all this problem in the Seychelles. And what the rat did, the first one he killed with leptospirosis is Dawson. I forgot his last name. I know him as a young boy, very good footballer, worked for Standard Bank as a, sending letters or whatever it is. Next thing, my brother got killed with leptospirosis. Who's to be blamed? That government. They brought all these things. And today we have all the big creeper all over this country. I remember growing up on the property. I used to go up to Trafouet where they took our land every week when we were not at school or when we were on our holiday, school holiday. My father used to say, go and have a look at the property. One day it's going to be yours. Go and see if there's anything happen up there. And they took our land. They took everything. I come from a big family. And Philippe Lefevre, my brother, that's come. You know what he did? He told my auntie one day, because my father, when he got married, was staying in that big house at Saint Louis, together with the sisters. He came and he said to Tante Henriette, Albert's going to take our property here. Put it on my name. My auntie always say that property is for Philippe, Gilbert, A.G., Rosemary, and Henri. And what he did after that, that scum, supposed to be son of his, sold it to some people. And my grandmother was killed on this property, cleaning the property. That's a shame to hear of scum like them. The other day he said to me, hello, Uncle George. I said, don't call me Uncle George. Can I buy you a drink? I said, I don't need you to buy me a drink. That's how people here are. They talk to you and they put a knife in your back. My friend, I will always remember him. Gilbert Morgan, nice guy. One night they got him at Reef Hotel. I know who killed Morgan, but I won't mention because somebody else is going to come and say it. I know who killed Morgan. I have my friend in America, Achi Wenyam. He had to leave this country. He knew about it because he was scared. So Albert René got a lot of bombs put around this country. But Montcalm was so dumb and stupid to listen to him. Montcalm was my friend. And he told me one day when I came here, he said, George, if you don't stop talking, Albert will kill you. I said, you know what? My kids are grown up. I'm ready to get a bomb. Get it. I've lived in Texas. I know what it's like. I don't regret. I've done what I need to do in my life. That's why I've decided I'm coming back home. I didn't want to, but now I'm coming back. Because they need people like me to talk and try and change what's going on. I don't blame for the new president. He was a young guy. He doesn't know what happened at that time. But what's happening? The one who's stealing the money and put it in their pocket, James Michel, who had nothing, today is a multimillionaire. It's sad. You see big building everywhere belong to these skunk, I call them. People of Seychelles, wake up and come and tell the truth here. What's happened? I don't care if you got your money from them, but you realize a lot of things has changed. When I talk about my family, yes, I cry. Because I've known to get up at 4:30 in the morning and work. Before I went to school, every day I walked from Beauvallon or Saint-Louis to the college. And one time my father put me at the boarding school where I came to be very friendly with Mike and his brother Gilbert. We had some fun there. Like I told Corgat, go Corgat, I called him. Gilmer Corgat. At school we called him Gilmer. I got his picture when he was little. His father used to come and whip him at school all the time. But he's still an idiot today, even he's made money. I call him an idiot. The other day he said something to me. I said, you're an idiot. I remember when he came from Australia. He came to my garage almost every night, having a drink at 6 o'clock. And my brother was the one who introduced him to Marlène Savy, Marlène Lyonnais at that time. My brother Bernie. If there was a man who knew savoir de vivre, was my brother Bernard. He's the one who got killed with leptospirose. He was a good man. He used to take his pickup at Beauvallon and tell the fishermen, put your fish, I'll take you to the market. For nothing. And of course, some of them will give him a drink. He used to like to have a drink. We were brought up that, everybody at Beauvallon. I can remember passing on the beach, going to school, to church on Sunday. The Caron or the Bonito will run after the mackerel and jump on the beach. We pick it up and go and grill it. Beauvallon. You know, my best friend was Mickey Montcalm. He sang that song. La pas le temps pour nous la guerre, on nous vivre comme on fait. That's what we need to do it, like we used to do. Ça Beauvallon. C'est même l'endroit, vous voyez faire l'amour, Beauvallon. I love Beauvallon. Even now, every day, I go and have a swim. This is Seychelles. This is our island. And one day, they might say, one day I'm going to write a book about this country. Because I feel that this country has been raped. I left here very young. I went to Australia. I knew what was hardship, what hard work. When I went to Australia, I was making £5.10 a week. And I had to pay. My board and lodging was £5. I worked 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's where I learned to work. And I'm very proud I went to Australia. I never took anything from nobody. I went to work every day. Nobody knows what hard work is. We think we got hard worker here. We got these Indians, they're hard worker. No, they're not hard worker. You go to Australia, you go to America, there you see hard worker. These people from South America, hard worker too. They can build a house in 2 weeks. But they got everything there. Anyway, I think there's other people who wants to come and talk. And I just wanted my daughter to hear what I had to say, because I've told her all her life, and she's never believed it. Until she saw last time when I talked. Sometimes we say, forgive. How can you forgive this scoundrel, this rogue? They committed treason on this country. And you can see them still coming in and lie to this community. Mike, we go back a long way. I'm glad I've met people like you. We had good times. But we had a hard time the past 40 years. $40 they took from me. I had to go and live in exile. Today, I see my country. I see what I could have done, what I could have made. And all this has been taken away from me. When you are a good man, you talk like it is, and you walk like it is. My father, I got whipped from the brothers at school. I got whipped from my dad if I'd done something wrong. And you know what? After all these years, I said to myself, I got whipped, but I never went to jail. Because I knew what life is, how my parents, how the college, the brothers made us. Thank you very much for listening to me.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lefevre. It's clear that, you've been deeply affected by the injustices of the past, and I don't think there's been a forum, where you can really talk about what happened and hopefully get it off your chest a bit. Your land claims are very complicated. We're not experts, but we've called Patrick Leblache to come today to try and help us through some of this. We understand that, I mean, a lot of this happened because of the victimization and persecution of you and your forced exile. And as a result of that, then the land acquisitions, you know, are part of that whole victimization process. So we will be speaking to Mr. Leblache today about that, just so that we are crystal clear, because the claims are complicated.
Well, lady,
Yeah.
I went and talked to Pat Leblache. I used to curse him whenever I used to come here. My daughter told me, Papa, be a bit different. I've told him, Pat, what happened? I've forgotten about it. But just make it good. Make it right. I met Mr. He is the surveyor, and I knew him very well. And Chantal, I told him, I said, did you know that my building is not there? The building was made out of 9-inch block, steel, very nicely built. 2 buildings with 3-phase system, 2 bath and toilet for my workers when they finish work. Everything. Nice. Where's my building? I could get at least 85,000 rupees a month now for it. Could rent it tomorrow. Nice, beautiful place. All the gate is gone. All the fencing is gone. Everything is gone. Everything. It's going to cost me at least 5 million rupees to rebuild this place. I went to the Attorney General, very nice guy. But he doesn't know what happened. We talk about things. And when I tell Pat, I will look into it. Since 2016, my daughter came here. They told my daughter she had to pay so much. She gave them a check. Paid it. 2016, my place is still, everything is demolished. And actually, I know who demolished my building. Because me here, I know everything. I only had to talk to one guy. He said, tomorrow I see you, I'll tell you who did demolish my building. But he's got a big business. He's a Mancien. His name is Dan Import. He's got money. He had to come here and say that he demolished my building. I don't do this. I know everybody. That's everybody I know on this island. Because I've helped a lot of people. Like Mrs. Laporte said, I helped her husband. I feel sorry to see him the way he is now. I went to see him. Good guy, hard worker, good man. A lot of people was put in jail very, very unfairly. My friend Joao was killed. I saw this clown the other day talking from England. Maybe he doesn't want to come here because he might be put in jail. He was part of the setup to kill Joao. Joao was a nice guy. I went to school with him. I went to school with his mother. I went even to school with Jeva René. She was my school teacher. And the other day I heard he said, oh, the children shouldn't be punished. Jeva has changed because she whipped my butt. And she told me, give your hand with ruler. when a kid does something wrong, they have to be punished, because then they don't do it. That's why today we got too much drugs here on this island. I've never done drugs in my life. My father would have whipped my ass if I had done that. Thank you.
Can I just ask, why did you have to pay money? What were you paying for?
There was a loan back then to build the building, and so the government gave back the land, half of the land, and so gave my mother the hypothec, and in exchange for getting the land back, they wanted, I don't recall exact amount, but it was approximately $15,000. And, you know, it was my father's land, and I told him, Papa, I'm going to get you your land back before you leave. And so that was my goal. And I gave them the money, and they promised to return the land, and the transfer has still not taken place. That was about 2 years ago.
2016.
So yeah, over like 3 years ago. And
And-
we're still talking to the AG's office to have the transfer happen, and he could also still rent the land or maybe try to sell the land or do anything. So they did agree, and I paid them just to get it done. And he's right, we could have argued and discussed the fact that the building is gone and that they also had rental income for many, many years. I know the government had rental income on it, but I just wanted to patiently negotiate with the government and just get it back.
You're extremely patient, right? 'Cause
It's been, yes, it's been.
I mean, you paid.
Yeah, I negotiated with them many, many years. I didn't want to sue.
But why are they telling you they haven't transferred it? What's their...
I don't really know. I'm actually have a meeting
Like
at 12
everything
o'clock
on this
again to try to.
But when they take it, it takes like that.
Yes.
Want to give it?
Yeah.
And you know, Mr. Chung, what's his name? Mr. Chung Tav. He told me, I met him on the road. He said, George, sue them for your building.
Mr. Lefebvre, the building was for what? Was it a
I was
house?
a garage.
That was a garage.
I was my
that you
garage.
mentioned. Okay.
I
yes.
did all my equipment repair there, and I had a lot of customers. I used to do a lot of work.
But was it used by anybody after you
Yeah,
left it?
they had it rented to a guy by the name of Gino. He had it as a carpentry shop. And then when Dino moved out from there, they even had it as a church while they were building the church at Saint Louis, which my family gave the land, and my auntie helped to build that church. And when they had it broken, that Mr. Frisho was rebuilding it, they used my place as a church. A very nice building, very, very well built, all steel constructed and 9-inch block. And then I had one other building where I kept all my parts.
But this was compulsorily acquired
Yeah.
Yes.
in the national interest?
By that pig, Mr. O'Doul.
So they took your garage in the national interest and rented it to someone to do carpentry work?
Yeah.
Couple years, I mean, it took a couple years before they rented it, yes.
No, they rented it almost all
away.
the same, right away.
And then
That's-
I know that the one gentleman wasn't really paying the rent
That's nothing to do
because I
with
went and met with the government. Well, there was maybe 1 year he didn't, but either way, I knew that the law was if they hadn't sold the land, that we
Yeah,
had the right
yeah.
to get it back.
Yeah.
So I went and had many, many meetings,
Mm.
you know, and then finally, actually, Mr. Lablache did help us
Mm-hmm.
push it through after paying the fee, but it still hasn't transferred
Mm-hmm.
since I signed at the AG's office 3 years ago.
Right.
And then they took a property from me at Bellom, at Mount Simpson, 2 acres.
And we're still negotiating.
And what
negotiating
happened?
that as well.
The property was not my wife's property. I bought the property. It was put on George Lefevre. I've got the paper there. And it was negotiated, I don't know how, that it was put to the Lefevre family. And I've got nothing in it. I don't mind if it was for my 2 daughters, but my wife has nothing to do with it.
Ex-wife. Correction.
Ex-wife.
That's fine.
Yeah. You understand my point? My daughter, I'd give anything to my daughter. I love my daughter.
So you weren't involved in this, they just somehow put it back.
Yeah. And then suddenly I found out it was the 3 Musketeers, and my ex has got 99% of the 3 Musketeers, and one of my daughter, Marisa, has got 1%. It's a piece at Bel Air.
Sans souci.
Sans souci.
I'm sure Mr. Lablache can help sort it out.
And the same, I had a property at Bellon at the same time when they took my property, and I said, you know, I cut this up and sell it. Beautiful property, most beautiful place in Bellon. You know, I made a loss, and I cut it up, sold it to everybody. Today, I'm very friendly with all the customers. And then next thing, I built the road. It should have been called George Lefevre Road. And you know, it's now the government. They got the place. Them scoundrel.
So they just took the road.
Yeah.
They took the road.
I don't mind. The people, they have the road. No right for somebody to pass there and build a road and have more people coming through the land.
And the property, the 2 parcels at Beauvallon, what's their status now? Because there's the hotel
Well,
part.
one of them
Yeah.
was just sold for $10 million.
Sold by the government.
The government bought it from this Indian guy who had Snitch and Bama had sold it. I even don't know if Snitch and Bama even he got it on Hotel de Seychelles, if even had made the application to buy it. Because, you know, I know that when you buy properties in Seychelles, as a foreigner,
You need sanction.
you need sanction.
Does sanction mean approval by the government?
Approval.
Government approval
yeah.
if you're a non-Seychelles
And
you
then,
need that.
next thing, they built the Savoy Hotel on my father's land. And we don't get paid. Is it right that my father, you know how my mom managed to save that money? During the war, it was called wireless. And there was people here who came from Ceylon and everything who was in the looking after the island that the German cannot come. And my father used to make kind of a drink called baka with sugar cane. And he worked very hard, selling it every day. Sometimes the people will come and give my father ration that they got, like bully beef in those days or cheese, you know, they get some baka. And my father every night when he comes back from working, even some of my brothers, older brothers, the one who's in Australia, they used to go and sell it. And every night when my dad comes, he's had a few drinks, my mom used to take the money out of his pocket. Okay? And anyway, my mom was doing it all the time, and he had a big chest, wooden chest, because she was a seamstress. And they used to buy clothes in those days. You couldn't buy a shirt in talon, they call it. And she used to put it on that big wooden chest on top. One day my father came to him, he said to her and said, Ena, I would like to buy, because before that my father had bought where my sister Vicky's got a little place now. I'd bought that place from Mr. Stevenson, which was the father of Mrs. Delhomme, okay? And so he said, I'd like to buy that rest, 33 acres. And Mr. Barnsley, who was selling it, there was 3 big masts there. And he had sold his mast, and the mast had gone to somewhere in Mauritius, okay? And so he said to my mom, Anna, I would like to buy that place. And mom said, really? Yeah, I need to go to Bajo, the Timuljis, to see if I can borrow some money. And my mom said, how much? He said, 33,000 rupees at that time. And my mom said, Daddy, I've got the money. I always remember that. And my mom was pregnant for me at that time. I was the 10th boy, 10th of the children. We were 14 of us. And so he came up. Come, Daddy, I'll show you. But Anna, where did you get that money from? He said, Dad, I've got 10 children with you. I want my children to be educated one day, and have something. And anyway, they counted the money. There was over 43,000 rupees. Then after that, my father bought the first car, Austin 12, was number 25. Today, my sister is still got that number on her car, Vicky. That's how my mother was there to save the money. And my mother never wanted to sell Beauvalon. They were having an argument with my father because Jerry Legrand used to get my father drunk. You know? My mom was a very smart lady. She died at 96 after raising all of us. It's sad to see today somebody else is getting the money that we should be the one getting it. And I talked to Pat Lablache about that. He said, oh, they couldn't find, my mom couldn't find the deed of Beauvalon where she bought it. How can he say that to me when he can find it? I got a warrant to go and look for it. He found all the paperwork. And we got screwed. I won't say it because in Texas we say it some other way. To see money being saved, every little piece of money to be saved and be taken away from us. Today, my brothers and sisters, we probably about 100 of us, maybe more. Their kids did that too. And one of my brothers, he says many times that he will never come back home because of that.
But you're coming back.
I'm coming back.
That's good. I think it's good for the country that you're coming back.
I'm coming back because they need people like me to talk. I wish I was younger. I would run for government.
Yeah, I think they do need people like you in this country. So I'm very pleased that you are coming back. And I hope you come back and we manage to put some of the injustices right.
And so much is wasted here. So much is wasted. I'm glad I managed to get that off my chest. I didn't cry so much.
But it shows you've got a very good soul. You know, you should be hurt by these things. And you shouldn't, I mean, you should cry, right?
All my brothers have it like me.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're coming back.
And my sisters too. You're going to see Vicky. She'll probably cry too.
Yeah, I think you should cry. It's worth crying about. Yeah. So we don't have any further questions for you. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you for giving your complaint in public. Thank you for your daughter too for helping. We really appreciate that. We will try as much as we can to work things out and to try and get proper redress for you. We'll do our best. I hope we can do something that makes you feel happy about the choice of coming back.
Thank you, Mom.
But thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
I'm glad you're doing a good job.
It's a tough job, right?
It's a tough job. Nothing is easy in this
I
world.
know.
Nothing is easy.
Yeah. Well, let's hope it's successful, and it benefits everybody at the end. That's our hope. But we will adjourn now and we will return. Oh, no. Yes, we will. We will adjourn now and return at 11. Is that right, Michael? Yes, we will return at 11, where we will hear from Vicky Lanza.
Yeah, I'll come and
Okay.
listen to her.
Thank you very much. Thank you again, Mr.
Appreciate it for
Lefevre.
everything.
And thank you too. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so we're now adjourned. Thank you.